Welcome to another episode of Serious Though. I'm your host, Ron. I want to thank everybody for listening to all the previous shows out there. Just wanted to get into a new show, something different. This time, what we're going to talk about is something called colorectal cancer. Yep, I did say it. Rectal and cancer. Those two words, man. Most people hear that and they be like, I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, it gets a little squirmish and stuff like that. But you can talk about, you know, twerking videos or the latest gear that's out, or, you know, some money you're about to get, or, you know, things you've done on the street or whatever, or in the business or whatever. But when we get to the colorectal cancer, you get nothing but, that's right, you get a bunch of crickets. And them crickets be just going because people don't want to talk about it. So that's why I'm bringing it to you live and direct. So first and foremost, what we're going to do is just talk about some things real quick. First thing I like to talk about is that it is prevalent in men and women. And also it's more prevalent in the African-American community. That's right. So it's more prevalent. So we definitely need to get screened and checked. And we're going to get into that too. But these are just what I want to start off with. I want to start off by saying these are some of the symptoms that people may have. Before I get into the symptoms, I am not a doctor. I am not a nurse. I am not any kind of medical practicing person. I don't have anything medical. I'm just a person that using my life experiences and using the knowledge that I've gained over time. And I even found a good website, cancer.gov. That's right. It's a government website. I don't mean, you know, it's the best information, but guess what? It breaks it down Barney style. And for those who don't know what Barney style is, it's when you're doing something and it's very basic and you can't do anything but not understand it. So you just go on that website, check it out. There's some good information on there. Let's jump into it. So these are some of the things, some of the symptoms that you can have that may warrant that you need to go see a doctor. Changing in bowel habits. Okay, so one day it's, you know, one way, and then another day is another way. But it continues to do that, or it continues to change or something like that. It's not the hot Cheetos that you ate 8 weeks ago. Okay, it's not the food that you just got from your friend and you blame it on them. It could be, you know, could be. Some people can't cook, so you got to watch out all that stuff too. But it could be something else. So that's another reason to go to the doctor. Also, another reason is, you know how when you're chilling on the phone in the bathroom and you get leg cramps, and then you got to stand up and get them leg cramps out, and you stand up and you're like, oh man, let me flush that. And look back and you see something red back there. Yo, that is not Kool-Aid. That may be something else. That may be some reason to go see the doctor. And if it happens once, I say if it happened once, you know, get it checked out. But once again, I'm not a doctor, but you just need to make that judgment call. And people like, you know, doctors are expensive. Clothes are expensive. Partying is expensive. You know, those things are expensive as well. So you got to prioritize too. That's part of this whole thing. You may have some pain and bloating. You know what I mean? You may have some gassy bubbles and stuff like that. You may be going on a lot or something like that, or I don't know. But you may need to get it checked out. Weight loss. You know, you losing weight. You're not taking any medication or anything for losing weight. You're not exercising, or maybe you are exercising Instagram style, I call it. You know, you go to the gym, take pictures, you know, look like you're sweating, and then you get a bunch of likes. But that doesn't constitute losing weight. So that's not exercising. So if you're not exercising, you're not taking some medication or something like that, and you get a lot of weight loss going on, yo, go see the doctor, and not Dr. Dre. Also, vomiting. You may have an issue with vomiting. That's self-explanatory right there. It's not because you popped a lot of bottles and you know, you're dehydrated. Could be that, you know, been there, done that. But it could be also something else. And the last thing could be fatigue. Like you're doing the same thing that you normally do, but you just feel more exhausted and tired. You know, you should get enough sleep. That's to be said. We all don't get enough sleep, I think. I really don't think we do. But if you're fatigued and you've been doing the same pattern or something like that, once again, I'm not a doctor. This is not a doctor's podcast or nurse podcast or medical podcast or anything like that. This is just informative person. Just trying to give you that serious thought. You need to go see a doctor. Some things that you can do to help you lower the risk. These are things off this website as well. First, I want to say they're saying out of 100 people, 64 people don't die. So you can roll the dice and maybe try to do some of this stuff or whatever. You do you. You do you, boo. Yeah, we don't want to say that because AOC may get mad. You got to look that up. First things first is, if you're age 45, you definitely want to get it checked out. It used to be 50 and they rolled it back to 45 because they're saying a lot of young people between the ages of 20 and 49 are, come up developing cancer. I wonder why. I wonder why. One of the other things that can raise the risk is alcohol. We all, drink or whatever like that. And not all, we drink. And, you're like, I don't drink much, but I drink this much or whatever. Or you watch those videos where somebody downing a whole bottle of De Leon or Patron or whatever. That's not good. So, the other thing is cigarette smoking. Definitely is not something good. Smoking is not good. And you probably like, Ron, you saying too much right now. I'm going to cut this out. Hold up for a second. I have experience in all these things, and I know it can be emotional draining to change these habits. And then also too, you may not have a support system or anyone to count on to help you change these habits if you're motivatable. But you can. You just can't focus on all these things at one time. I've learned it over time. You have to prioritize the things that you do want to stop in life and the things that you want to improve on, and then also accept the information that people give you and criticisms and stuff like that. That's probably the hardest thing, especially with the social media. Everything looks so perfect and pretty and nice, and you know what I'm saying? But it ain't really like that. So you got to be able to be motivatable. You got to have active listening, and you might be able to get it done, man. I think you can, but don't try to do all these things at once. The other thing is obesity. We eat a lot. We eat a lot, man. We do, man. We go to the store. We want the biggest. How big is the plate? I say to myself, how big is the plate of food? How big is that going to be? How big is it? It's just a habit. And then once you finish eating, you can't move. So we do that a lot of times. It adds up. So, and I've done it. I've lost a lot of weight. I worked on my weight and stuff like that. And, I know it can affect other people around you because your emotions do change and your habits change, but it's doable if you want to do it. Family history of colorectal cancer. People don't talk about it in their family, man. People don't want to talk about politics. They don't want to talk about health. They don't want to talk about those things. You got to get them to talk about the health part. Who? Did my uncle, did my aunt, did my cousin, did my mom, my dad, my grandparents, whatever. Ask those questions about health, who had what? Because, even at a funeral, sometimes you don't even know what's going on. You don't even know what happened. You're usually at the funeral. Think about that. You know what I mean? It's no snitching on health. I ain't snitching. I ain't telling nobody. I ain't telling nobody what happened. I let them find out on their own. How real is that? That really is not. That shouldn't be something we do. But we do it as a family. History of polyps. You know what I'm saying? Inflammation, bowel disease. Polyps. Polyps. Look it up. See what they are. That's homework. And then something you definitely can't control is inherited genetics. It's in your DNA. You may have to go see a geneticist and have them look at you. And you probably like, Ron, all these things are expensive. They cost a lot. Yeah, I know they do. They do. But think about some of the things you're buying. Think about when you're watching that video and somebody got a new BBL, you should think like, did they get a colon rectal exam? I mean, did they get a colonoscopy? I said colonoscopy. And you're probably like, colonoscopy? What is a colonoscopy? So colonoscopy, Will Smith got a great video out. If you type in Will Smith colonoscopy, I think it's under 20 minutes. He doesn't show the whole thing, but he goes into the whole process and makes it, once again, Barney style. You can't mess this up about getting a colonoscopy. You basically got a tube with a camera and a light, and I think they had a little prongy thing on there, and they put you on your side, like your left side, and knock you out with some medication. You ain't gonna remember. You ain't gonna feel anything while they doing it. And then they go in and look for polyps and stuff like that. And if there's polyps in there, they usually take them out, get them checked out, and then you get some results back, and they tell you, is this precancerous or is it not precancerous? I know this from experience, y'all. So this is not just, me just spitting some language out on y'all. But you definitely want to get that colonoscopy done. Like I said before, they said 45. But if you got any of those issues, you definitely want to talk to your doctor, your nurse practitioner, whoever you see for medical treatment that's certified medically. Not me, not this podcast, but see them to ask them what other steps that you need to do. Because you can also look at a map. There's places in America that have more prevalent cancer for colon rectal than other places. And we definitely got to be on top of this serious, though. Thank y'all for listening.